Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we get to sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players and related music industry experts. If you love playing guitar, stick around. You're in the right place. This is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, podcast episode number 37. Today's topic, once impossible, now easy. So early in my career, when I first got into business for myself, I started studying a lot of self-help books. I had no idea really what it took to be successful, or was there a different way to think, or how to manage things, or any of that stuff. Not to mention, I'd literally never met anybody successful in my life before this. Plus, I had a lot of other typical blue-collar upbringing negative messages about success and about money that were planted in my head as a kid by people who didn't know anything about being successful themselves, actually. So the bottom line was, I knew I wanted to make something of myself, and I knew I needed some guidance, so I turned to books. One of the first books I read was a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by a guy named Dr. Maxwell Maltz. So Maltz was a plastic surgeon in New York City, and he noticed a pattern with his patients. He found that some patients, no matter how beautiful they were, either before or after the surgery, they always seemed to have a negative self-image. And it was his contention that after doing all these surgeries and meeting with all these people, that one of the ways of improving your self-image was to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now, that's the part of your mind that's thinking underneath the thinking. So while I'm actively talking to you right now, I'm using my conscious mind to do that. But underneath, there's a subconscious mind that's guiding me in my entire life's philosophy and purpose, pretty much. See, that subconscious mind pretty much governs much of your internal thinking. You know, those kind of little voices that speak to you all the time, and many times they're speaking negative messages, and when you least want to hear them. Maltz felt that this was the part of the brain that you needed to reprogram to become successful. And in his opinion, the best way to reprogram your thinking is by using visualization techniques, meaning if you see your outcome as positive before it actually happens, the likelihood of having that positive outcome is tremendously increased. Conversely, if you see your outcome as being negative before it actually happens, the likelihood of it being a negative outcome is tremendously increased. So basically, it was like, if you think you can do it, you can. If you think you can't do it, you can't. So this held true for anything you're about to do. And that would include playing guitar on stage, trying something for the first time, losing weight, running a business, and so on. And in fact, today, visualization techniques, because Maltz wrote this book, I believe, in the probably late 60s, early 70s. But today, visualization techniques are actually accepted as a very standard way of reprogramming your mind. And in fact, it's pretty much a conventional form of mindset used by almost every high-level professional athlete. And you can look at this in the NBA, where you might have heard an interview or seen a documentary about the players stand at the foul line, closing their eyes and seeing themselves make that foul shot. Well, they're not just doing that when they're at the foul line. They're doing that tons of times, over and over. They're taking actual mental reps in their subconscious mind, watching this happen, and they're programming themselves for success. So one simple concept that Maxwell Maltz discussed, and his name, if you want to look him up, is Maxwell Maltz, M-A-L-T-Z. He discussed this concept of once impossible, now easy. And he basically said, whenever you're confronted with a problem or with a task that seems difficult or intimidating, he said, stop what you're doing. Do not let stress and anxiety build up. Instead, what he suggested you do is go to the quiet room inside your mind and review the list of all the things in your life that you've already accomplished that once seemed impossible, but today were now easy. And so basically, what that does is it programs your mind for success by reviewing all the past successes that you've had. And once this success pattern has been sort of inserted into your subconscious, not only is all the fear and intimidation you have mitigated, but your likelihood of success in whatever it is that's scaring you is much higher since your brain is now in the success mode. Let me tell you a very simple example. I remember when my daughter first started cheerleading. I guess she was probably about, 5 or 6 years old. And she came to me and she said, "I'll never do a backflip." And I said to her, "Hey, when you first started cheerleading, do you remember that you told me you'd never do a cartwheel?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, what's going on? Now you do cartwheels real easily." She said, "That's right." I said, "Do you remember when you first started riding a two-wheeler without training wheels?" I said, "You didn't think you could do it, but we took off the wheels and what happened?" And she said, "I rode the bike." And so I wanted to give her those things to think about rather than telling her, "Samantha, I need you to focus on your subconscious mind," because she was a kid and I don't know if she could do that or would even understand or would certainly not have the patience to listen to me. Now at 17, she certainly wouldn't want to hear that. But what happened was she went and became a very successful cheerleader and she did backflips. Now, I'm not saying that's why she was able to do it, but I will tell you one thing. After I walked her through that visualization of those two events of being able to do a cartwheel that was once impossible and now easy, and being able to ride a two-wheeler without training wheels that was, again, once impossible and now easy, I did notice she was much more relaxed. A lot of that anxiety and fear and intimidation she had went on the back burner. It was a different conversation she was having with herself at that point. She was more focused on getting it done than worrying about getting it done. And I think that's the thing that holds us all back, is we have that worry in our mind. If we could just focus on the task at hand, and you think about all the things that you've done in your life that you had to overcome that were once impossible and now easy, it becomes a lot easier and a lot more matter of fact and a lot less intimidating. This is a really effective technique. You can always buy Maxwell Maltz's book, Psycho-Cybernetics. I know they've updated it many times since then. There's Psycho-Cybernetics programs as well online. I've used that technique many times. In fact, on my desk, and you can use this in any situation to reprogram the little voices in your head, I have something that says, "Proceed as if success is inevitable." And I stare at that thing all day long, intermittently throughout the day. It's a postcard or a card, like, a greeting card I got when I went up to New York a few years ago. It's called, you can get these online, it's called Quotable Cards. So go to quotablecards.com and it just says, "Proceed as if success is inevitable." And I'm looking at that thing maybe 20 to 30 times a day because it's literally right next to my computer, right in front of the little thing that holds all my pens and pencils, right? So if I'm seeing that all day long, what do you think my state of mind, my subconscious mind is going to be? It's going to be programmed to proceed as if success is inevitable. So I've used this techniques many times. I have not used it often enough, and I need to use it more. But use this in any situation where you want to reprogram those little voices in your head that often start talking to you when you least want or least need to hear them. And I think you'll see some serious changes. Thanks for listening. Go to everyonelovesguitar.com and sign up to get notified of future episodes along with the latest guitar-related updates. And join our community on Facebook at facebook.com/everyonelovesguitar. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.